Hey everyone, welcome back. It's another episode of Divorce Coach Diaries. And what I want to talk about today is how to take back your power. And I want to focus more on how to take it back rather than ways that we give it away. So, the kind of power I'm talking about doesn't depend on your ex, your lawyer, a court date. This kind of power comes from within. And I know that might sound a little bit cheesy, so stay with me. But while you are in a really challenging season of your life, like during a divorce process, it's so easy to give our power away and think that we are powerless to our outside circumstances. Our power is never taken from us. You just stopped using it. And again, whenever I bring up anything like this, people give me feedback like, well, in this type of abusive relationship, the person is taking away your power and you are powerless. And this is not what I'm talking about. Again, I'm not speaking to when people are literally victimized or powerless because I know those situations exist. But I am talking about the mindset piece. Today, I want to talk about what it really looks like to take back your power in really small and simple ways that will make big changes for you. So, what does this even mean? Because a lot of times I think that we confuse power with control. And ironically, the people who feel the most powerless are the ones who are the most controlling and behave in this way. And that is so fascinating to me because the reality is we never have control over anything outside of us. And anytime we think we have control, it's just an illusion. So, taking back your power is not about control, it is about choice. You cannot control what your ex says, but you can decide what you make it mean, what you believe about yourself. You cannot control what the court orders, but you can control how you show up for yourself and for your kids. Power is about the moment that you stop reacting and start responding or acting. What would it feel like to trust yourself again, even in these really challenging circumstances that we find ourselves in sometimes? So, how do you know if in small ways you're already doing it? You're already taking back your power. Maybe you paused before replying to a text that feels really cruel or untrue or unkind, or, it's the kind of text that it feels like if you don't reply or respond, that the other person wins. Maybe instead of replying at all, you just let it be. Maybe you say no to something that just doesn't feel right inside. Maybe, and this is kind of a big one, maybe you ask for help instead of pretending that you're fine. The strongest people that I know when to ask for help. Think about that for a minute. We have it backwards. We think that the strong people are the ones who don't need anything from anybody. But what if that's not true? Here's another way you might be already taking back your power. You stop explaining yourself or defending your choices to somebody who doesn't want to understand them. And that can be so challenging because there are relationships in our lives that we thought were one way that actually aren't. And it can be hard to sit with the truth that there are people who only want to see it their way. That for whatever reason, based on usually some sort of pain or fear, they don't want to see it another way. So stop explaining yourself to them. These are the types of moments where you are taking back your power. So, what does it look like in practice? Maybe you practice stopping needing permission. You don't wait for everyone to be in agreement for what you should do next. You stop asking, oh, is this okay? Am I allowed to do this even? Or who do I need to pass this off with? Instead, you might be asking yourself questions like, does this feel like the right decision? And how am I going to know if it's the right decision? Because here's what I believe. I believe we make decisions and then we're the ones who make those the right decision or the wrong decision. And I know that might be a really challenging concept to sit with, but I want to challenge you to think about that. What if there is no such thing as a right or a wrong decision? And of course, I'm not talking about decisions that hurt other people or harm other people. We're not talking about taking advantage of anyone, hurting anyone. We're just talking about the nuanced decisions in our lives that we spend so much time agonizing over and trying to figure out the right one. But what if that's not a thing? What if there is just a decision and then we make it the right one? Is that possible, do you think? Think about it and let me know. Okay, here's another way that you might take back your power in practice. You protect your peace. Like it matters, because it does. You decide what conversations you're going to engage in and which ones you are going to walk away from or not respond to. You stop showing up for every argument that you're invited to. Did you know that even if somebody is engaging with you, that you don't have to engage back, and it doesn't mean that they win or that they're right. They're right about you, they're right about your kids, they're right about your situation. It doesn't mean that. You get to decide what you show up to. Maybe you are challenging and redefining what strength looks like. Strength is not pretending that everything is fine and that you're fine. It is believing that you're okay and that you're going to be okay, even when it doesn't feel like it. We can still believe that everything is going to be okay and that everything is going to work out exactly how it should. And we don't have to know the how. That is such a powerful place to live in. Letting go of the how and still believing that everything is going to be exactly how it's supposed to be. So, what happens when you practice or when you notice that you are taking your power back? What shifts? You start being the hero of your own story instead of making somebody else the main character. Think about that. What would that be like to be the main character and the hero in your story? You also stop replaying every argument, every text thread, every mean or nasty or uninformed or misunderstood comment in your head. Did you know that this is optional? We don't have to do this. It's not about winning. It's not even about validating the other person. This is simply deciding what we are going to give our energy to on purpose. That is a powerful place to be in your own life. You can start making decisions from calm and peace instead of fear. That will shift everything for you. And you remember that while you are the hero and the main character in your story, that your story is just beginning. It's not over. Sure, it might look different than you thought it would, but we were wrong about what it was going to look like. And what if it's even better than we could have ever imagined? Did you know you're allowed to believe that? So, taking back your power, while it might be something that you need to practice again, it is available to you. You take it back every time you choose peace over fear or scarcity. You take it back every time that you practice trusting yourself instead of looking for validation or permission or approval from somebody else. So, this is what I have for you today. And if you want help taking back your power, come and find me on TikTok or Instagram at Meg the Divorce Coach, or go to my website, megthedivorcecoach.com/free coaching. I help people for free on Tuesdays, and I'd love to meet you. Have a great weekend.